Hi students, myself Anirban Bashurai Chaudhuri, Lab Assistant, Department of Chemistry, JS College of Engineering. You are watching the lab video. The paper name is Chemistry 1 Lab. This is for BTech first year students, and the paper code is CH191 and CH291.
So students, today I am going to show you and discuss about the experiment called hardness of water, determination of hardness of water. Now, what is the aim of this experiment? The aim of the experiment is determination of the calcium and magnesium hardness separately. So this is the aim. We have to determine the calcium and magnesium hardness separately from a given water sample by EDTA method. Okay. Now, first of all, what do you understand by hardness of water? What is the term called hardness? Okay, so I think you just remember it is the soap consuming capacity of water. Hardness is the soap consuming capacity of water. Now, what are the causes of hardness? Why that hardness is occur? In the water, calcium and magnesium, salts of calcium and magnesium present. Which salt? Salts of like bicarbonate, salts of calcium, magnesium, or carbonate, sulfate, or chloride of calcium and magnesium. If those salts are present in a water sample, then that water is considered as hard water. Okay, and you remember already you have read it. There are two types of hardnesses are there. One is temporary hardness, another is permanent hardness. So, what is temporary hardness? The bicarbonate. If the bicarbonate salts of calcium, magnesium is there, then it is considered as temporary hardness. And by boiling, you can remove it very easily. That hardness will be removed. And now the permanent hardness is other one like carbonate, chloride, sulfate of chloride and calcium and magnesium. If the salts are present, then it is considered as permanent hardness. Okay, there are some methods like zeolite treatment, ion exchange method. There are the methods to remove that permanent hardness, which is not very easy. Now, why we are using the term hardness of water? Why we are discussing today? Why we are doing that practical? Because that hard water is very, very harmful for industry. It is not used in the boiler. It is not the boiler feed water. So what happens? If continue using that hard water in the industry or in the boiler, there are maybe some sludges or scales are formed. So uneven heat distributions are there. Pipes are choked. Maybe boiler will be burst. Okay, and in the dyeing industry, the fabric industry, it will make the spot by reacting with some dyes. The hard water is there. So it is very harmful for industry. So we should know, and also if we take regularly in our daily life hard water, then also some problems are arises. So we have to understood or determine which water we are taking. Is it hard water, very hard water, or medium hard water? Okay, so that's why this is very important experiment. Now, whatever we are doing the experiment of hardness of water or determination of calcium magnesium by EDTA method, that is the very, very easiest way to find out the hardness. Now, student, remember, it is not the removing method. It is not the removing method of hardness. It is we can very easily find out how much hardness of water is present. That means we can determine how much hardness is there by the EDTA method. Now, so many times I told you EDTA. What is the full form of EDTA? That is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. This is the main reagent of this experiment. Okay. Now this experiment has two steps. Number one is determination of total hardness. And number two, determination of calcium hardness. So determination of total hardness means calcium plus magnesium. Then in the second step we have to determine calcium hardness. And if we know total hardness and calcium hardness, so very easily we can find out total minus calcium hardness. We can very easily determine the magnesium hardness. It's very easy. So this is the procedure. We will discuss it later. Now, for determining total hardness, that means in the first step, in this experiment, two indicators are there. And for indicator, you know, I think you should be aware about that. All the indicator act as good indicator in a certain pH range. Okay. Now EBT. In the first step, we are using EBT. That is the metal indicator. Okay. What is the full form of EBT? Eriochrome black tea. This is the indicator is used in the first step. Okay. Now what is the pH range of this using that indicator or acting very good indicator? pH should be at pH 8. Okay. That means whenever we use EBT indicator, the pH of the solution should be remain at pH 10. Now how will do that? So we have to use then a buffer solution. You know, if we use the buffer, it will remain maintain the pH of the solution. Now we are using here ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide, the basic buffer. NH4Cl, NH4OH. That buffer is used here. This is called the basic buffer. If we use that basic buffer, the solution of the pH will remain at pH 10. Okay. Now, what is the chemistry behind it? Chemistry of the experiment. So, first of all, as I told, EBT is the main ingredient, and whenever we have to take the EBT into the burette, and we have to take the sample. For which sample we are determining how much hardness is there. Then we have to add the indicator into that sample also, in presence of that buffer solution also. Otherwise it will not act as indicator. Okay. Always remember this thing. Now what happened? The calcium and magnesium which is present in the sample of water, hard water, they will react with EBT first. So, and form Ca2 plus or Mg2 plus EBT complex. Okay. So first that calcium or magnesium EBT, magnesium ion which is present in the sample of water, they will react with EBT, eriochrome black tea indicator, and form a complex, unstable complex. This is a unstable complex. Okay. And the color of the solution turns to wine red or pinkish red. That means whenever we add the indicator in presence of buffer solution, the color of the solution turns to pinkish red or wine red. And the chemistry of the experiment is that calcium magnesium is bind up with EBT and form calcium EBT or magnesium EBT, a unstable complex. Okay. Then when the titration process is going on, we have to add the EDTA from the burette. When EDTA is added, then that calcium and magnesium ion is bind up with EDTA and form calcium EDTA or magnesium EDTA, a stable complex. This one is a stable complex. Okay. So now EBT, look, EBT is now free from the reaction. So if calcium and magnesium which is react with first EBT, which is an unstable complex, they will react now after adding the EBTA, calcium EBTA or magnesium EBTA complex will be formed. That means EBT is free from the reaction. Now the color of EBT is blue. So the color turns to wine red to blue for that free EBT. Now that blue color is very good looking color. This is actually blue like kerosene. Now after endpoint, that's why the color changes like this, wine red or pinkish red to blue, blue like kerosene. You will find it. Okay, so this is the first step, determination of total hardness. Okay, now look, in this experiment, like EBT complex, calcium EBT or magnesium EBT complex, or calcium EBT and magnesium EBT complex, so many complexes are formed. Thus it is also called complexometric titration. It is also called complexometric titration. So this is the first step. Okay. Now what we have to do after doing that practical part, we have to note down that result in the table, and then if we do the calculation part, we can find out how much total hardness is there. Now in the second part, we have to find out or determine the calcium hardness. Now while we are determining the calcium hardness, so magnesium which is present may be present in the sample, that should be removed. How we will remove that magnesium? We have to then use the sodium hydroxide solution. How much? What is the step? 3 molar sodium hydroxide solution for second step. For second step, we are using 3 molar NaOH solution. Why? Because that NaOH is react with magnesium, and magnesium hydroxide will be precipitated out. So if we use NaOH into the solution, the magnesium which is present in the sample, they will react with NaOH and form magnesium hydroxide, that should be precipitated out. Okay, so if magnesium is removed from the solution, then we can very easily find out the calcium hardness only. Okay, for this 3 molar of NaOH is added for the second step. Now as it is added 3 molar of NaOH, now the pH of the solution is not remain at pH 10 because it is rises up. It's very strong NaOH, so pH will be rises up to above 11. Now at that particular pH, EBT is not act as indicator because it is above 10. Okay, so which is the suitable indicator for this? Now for the second step, the indicator is Calcon. On the second step, we are using Calcon indicator. Clear? So in the second step, we have to use Calcon indicator. Why? The pH of the solution, the pH is above 11. That's why it is the suitable indicator for this pH. That's why we are using different indicator. So 2 indicators are used. Now the method is, or the chemistry of the experiment is exactly same. The calcium and magnesium which is present in the sample, they will react with first the Calcon, and unstable complexes are formed calcium with calcium and magnesium. Then whenever the titration process is going on, the calcium and magnesium bind up with EDTA, and Calcon is free, and the color changes. That's why blue color is appear. So again the color changes pinkish red to blue. So in the second step, we have to add, after taking the sample, in the sample 3 molar of NaOH is have to add it, and then we have to add Calcon indicator. And initially the color is pinkish red, then at the end point the color comes to blue. So this is the theoretical part of the experiment. So there is so many complexes are formed, that's why it is called complexometric titration. Okay. Now I am going to discuss about the apparatus, reagent, and the procedure part, and I will show you how you actually do the experiment in the laboratory by yourself. Today I am showing you. Okay, the procedure is very simple. In the first step, we have to take 50 ml of tap water or sample of water by pipette. That means we have to pipette it out 50 ml of sample in a conical flask. Then we have to add 1 ml of buffer solution, ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide buffer. We have to add it. And then we have to add pinch drop of EBT, Ediochrome black tea indicator. initially the color turns to pinkish red or wine red. Then in the burette you have to fill the burette with 0.01 molar of EDTA. Here we are taking 0.01 molar. That much EDTA we are taking in the burette, and when titration is going on, at the end point we'll find out the blue color, blue like kerosene. So wine red to blue color. This is appeared. This is the first step. Now in the second step, we have to take 25 ml of sample. That means we have to prepare out 25 ml of sample in a conical flask, and in the burette already EDTA is there. Then we have to add 3 molar NaOH solution, 12.5 ml of 3 molar of NaOH in the sample. Then you have to stir it and rest it for at least 3 to 5 minutes for precipitation of magnesium hydroxide. Then you have to add pinch drop of chalcone indicator, and we will see the pink color is appeared, pinkish red is appeared. And again after titration at the end point you will see blue color. So again in the second step blue color is appeared. So this is the procedure part. Now watch the video carefully and you see what happened in the laboratory. Okay students, now I am going to show you the practical part of the hardness of water experiment. Now as you know, this experiment has 2 steps. For first step we have to determine the total hardness, that means calcium and magnesium both, and in the second step we have to perform or we have to determine the calcium hardness only. Then if we know total hardness and calcium hardness, by subtracting total to calcium you can determine magnesium hardness very easily. Okay. Now for the first step, what are the reagents and what are the apparatus are required? Now one burette is required. You know this is a burette. 125 ml pipette is required. Then conical flask is required, and the beaker which containing the sample of water. Okay. Now the reagents are required, that is 0.01 molar of EDTA which is taken in the burette. So burette is already filled with that EDTA solution, 0.01 molar of EDTA, that is a given strength. So burette is already poured with EDTA solution. And the other reagent for first step, that is the determination of total hardness, one buffer solution is required. Ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide buffer is required. This is the basic buffer to maintaining the pH. You know in the theory part already it is discussed why that buffer solution is required. Okay. Now by that particular dropper we have to add the buffer, 1 ml of buffer. Now and the indicator, that is for first step we have to use EBT indicator, areochrome black tea, that is a metal indicator. We have to give that indicator also. Now for second step again EDTA solution is required, and for removing magnesium 3 molar of NaOH which is required. Okay. So by a test tube we have to give that NaOH solution in the second part. And also different indicator is used for second part, that is chalcone indicator. So in the second step for determining calcium hardness we have to use the chalcone indicator. Okay. Now I am going to show you the first step. So what is the procedure? First of all we have to pipette out 50 ml of tap water in a washed conical flask. All the apparatus are washed with tap water and distilled water. Okay. So we have to pipette out 50 ml. That means we have to pipette out twice, because we have 25 ml pipette. So we have to pipette it out twice into the conical flask, that sample of water. And in the burette you have to collect, or you have to take 0.01 molar of EDTA which is already taken. Up to 0 mark it is taken. Clear? So this is the conical. Now I am going to show you how we will pipette the sample. Clear? This is the pipette. Now see, this is the water sample. Now I am pipetting. So look, there is a mark, you know, look at there is a mark. So up to that mark if we take the solution, it is considered as 25 ml. Clear? And we have to take the lower meniscus, as it is a colorless solution, so you have to take the lower meniscus. Now we have to make up the volume. So up to that particular mark. So this is 25 ml, and while we are pipetting, never blow the pipette. Okay. What you have to do, you just touch the tip at the end of the conical. That is okay. Again, you have to pipette it out because 50 ml. You have to pipette it out. So you have to make up the volume again. So 50 ml of sample is taken. Clear? Now you have to add 1 ml of buffer solution. So this is the buffer. So by that dropper, we have to add the buffer solution. 1 ml. It is marked. One mark is available. So up to that mark, we have to take. That is considered as 1 ml. Okay. So buffer is added. Now pinch drop of indicator. Areochrome black P. The metal indicator we have to add. Very little is required. Don't give too much of indicator, then it will be very difficult to understand the color change. And after adding, the color turns to pinkish red or wine red. See, color it turns to pinkish red or wine red. Okay. You see the color? What happened? In the theory part, it is discussed that calcium and magnesium which is present in the sample, which is in presence of that buffer solution, ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide buffer, the basic buffer. Then after adding that buffer, the pH of the solution is remain at pH 10. So at that particular pH, EBT is a very suitable indicator. So after adding that indicator, calcium magnesium bind up with EBT, calcium EBT or magnesium EBT, and form a unstable complex. Thus the color turns to that pinkish red. Then we have to start the titration. Clear? Now for titration, we have to take the EDTA. Already it is taken into the burette. So you have to check the initial reading. So initial reading is checked up to 0. You have to check the initial reading. So there also you have to maintain that lower meniscus and your eye level should be parallel while you are checking. Okay. And under your conical flask, give a white page. Okay. Now you have to start the titration. So you have to add drop by drop from the burette, not so many drop in one time. Initially you have to check your reading, that is your initial reading. Then afterward you have to add drop by drop into the conical flask. Okay. And continuously you have to stir the conical by your right hand. If you are a left-handed, if you are a right-handed, use your left hand to operate the stopcock. Now look, we are adding the drop from the burette. Drop by drop you have to add. And see the color change. That color change should be pinkish red to blue, blue like kerosene. And you have to control like this. You have to control that stopcock with your left hand if you are a right handed. The color is start changing. Now in one drop that color should be changed to blue, blue like kerosene. Be patient. Do not keep so many drop in one time. Now look, the color turns to blue like kerosene. Okay, you see the color? Okay, now the color turns to blue like kerosene. So look at the color. This is blue like kerosene. Okay, so this is the first step. Now you have to check the final reading. So whatever reading is there, you have to note down that. Now final minus initial, you will get your actual volume. How much volume of EDTA is consumed for this reaction. Now what happened? Why that color changes happen? Like wine red to blue. Like as I told previously, after adding that EBT indicator, that calcium magnesium which is present in water is bind up with EBT and form an unstable compound. That's why color in presence of buffer solution also. The color turns to pinkish red or wine red. Now whenever we add EDTA from the burette drop by drop, what happened that calcium and magnesium which is loosely bind up with EBT, it will react with EDTA and form a chelating ligand which is a stable complex. So EBT is the free from reaction. Now the color of EBT is blue. That's why it will show blue like color. Okay, blue like kerosene. So thus the color turns to wine red to blue. Now this is the first step. Now initially we are taking the reading and finally after the color change we have to take that final reading. So final minus initial, you get your actual volume which is consumed. Now you have to repeat that experiment twice. That means 3 observations for first step you have to take. Now the second step. For second step we have to prepare out 25 ml of sample in another conical flask, and then we have to add sodium hydroxide 3 molar of 12.5 ml 3 molar of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay, so after adding sodium hydroxide, why sodium hydroxide is added, you know that we are determining in the second step calcium hardness. So if magnesium is present in the sample, that should be removed. So after adding that NaOH solution, calcium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide is prepared, but after reaction, but magnesium hydroxide will be precipitated out from the solution. So what remain in the solution? Calcium, only calcium. So we can determine calcium hardness. Okay, by that method. So first of all, we have to prepare out that 25 ml of the sample of water. You have to make up the volume as you done previously. So 25 ml is taken. Okay. Now 3 molar of NaOH should be taken by test tube, 12.5 ml. It is marked up to that mark. You have to take 12.5 ml. Now you have to wait for few minutes. Okay, you have to rest it for few minutes. Then for second step also, whenever we start the titration, check your initial reading. Whatever reading is there, you have to note down that as initial reading. In the burette already EDTA is 0.01 molar EDTA is taken. Now into the conical flask 25 ml of water is taken and 12.5 ml 3 molar of NaOH is added. So after adding that 3 molar of NaOH, you have to wait for few minutes. Then you have to add the second indicator called Chalcon. Why now? Why Chalcon? Why not EBT is added? Because you know all the indicators act as indicator which has its certain pH range. So at pH 10, EBT acts as a very good indicator. But after adding that NaO is 3 molar of NaOH, which is very strong base. So after adding that indicator, the pH of the solution rises up to above 11 or 12 like this. So in that particular range, EBT is not act as an indicator. So Chalcon is a suitable indicator. Thus, in the second step, we have to use Chalcon. Okay. Now we have to take the Chalcon indicator. Chalcon should be taken. Again, very little amount is required. And after adding, you see pink color is applied. Okay. Very little is required. Now again we have to start the titration. So initially you have to check the initial reading, then you have to start the titration. Okay. Now I am going to start the second titration. Okay. Now look, drop by drop you have to add from the burette, and under the conical flask you have to give one white page and see the color change. Now this time very faint blue color is appeared. The color change should be pink to blue. Look, it will start changing. Now look, very faint blue color is there. Yeah. Okay. Now you see the color. Very faint blue color is coming. Can you understand? So pink to blue color is appear. That means you have to close the stopper. That is the end of the titration. Now you have to check the final reading. That is your final reading. So again, final minus initial, you will get your actual volume of EDTA solution which is required. So this is the second part of the experiment, that is the determination of calcium hardness. Now again you have to repeat that second part, that is the determination of calcium hardness thrice. That means 3 observation for second step you have to determine. Then you have to make the table for first step total hardness table, and put down the whatever data or whatever reading bullet reading you got, and for second step also we have to fill up the table. Now this is all about the practical part, that means determination of total hardness and also determination of calcium hardness. Now if we know total hardness, after doing the calculation we can find out the total hardness, and also for second step we can determine the calcium hardness. So if we know that value, then after subtracting total to calcium we have very easily find out the magnesium hardness. So in the next step we are going to show you the calculation part, the table part and the calculation part. So how we will calculate actually, and how we will find out the calcium magnesium separately. Okay students, so just watch the video and you can understand. Okay students, now the last part is the result and calculation. So after doing the practical part of hardness of water, 2 steps you have to fill up the table. So there is a table. So I will show you one example. 3 observation, as I told you, have to take 3 observations, 1, 2, 3. Now the sample setting is 50 ml for first step, and initial and final reading is like 0. Initial reading 20.5 is coming, suppose is coming for final reading. So final minus initial will get the corresponding volume of EDTA, that is 12.5. Now the second observation, third observation is written here. Now the concordant, next column is concordant reading. So you know concordant reading is 2 consecutive reading, the same reading you have to put it there. So 12.5 ml is coming twice, so that should be the concordant reading. Okay. Now the last part that is written here, but you can determine after the calculation. Now the calculation is also very easy. Now if you write down in that manner, 1000 ml 1 molar of EDTA solution equivalent to 100 gram of CaCO3. You know equivalent amount of acid is reactive equivalent amount of base. You familiar with that term. So we can write down in that manner. This is the equivalent sign. 1000 ml 1 molar EDTA solution equivalent to 100 grams of CaCO3. Why 100? Because this is the molecular weight. We are taking molar. Okay. Molecular weight of calcium carbonate is 100. Okay. Now why calcium carbonate? Because not only for this experiment, all the experiment of water analysis should be determined in terms of calcium carbonate first. Then we have to convert if we want to convert. Because for the ease of calculation, the molecular weight is 100. For that, in terms of calcium carbonate, we have to determine. Okay. Then the normal unitary method. 1000 ml, we are taking 0.01 molar of EDTA. EDTA, the strength of EDTA is I told you, 0.01 molar of EDTA. How much? And then your bullet reading, the concordant reading, 12.5 ml. So 12.5 ml, that much is normal. How much? The calculation is here. So after calculation, you will see 12.5 milligram of you have to convert the gram into milligram by multiplying it with 1000. Very simple calculation. If you do by yourself, you can understand that. Okay, order modified, only this thing is there. 12.5 milligram of CaCO3. Okay. Now for this calculation, this is the result. 12.5 milligram of CaCO3. Now this 12.5 milligram of CaCO3 is coming for how much of what? How much we have to take? 50 ml, isn't it? So we can write down 50 ml of water sample contains 12.5 milligram of calcium carbonate. Okay. Now normal method in 1000 ml, how much? So after calculation we will find out 250 milligram of calcium carbonate is present in the sample of 50 ml of the sample. This is the actual result. Hence the total hardness of water is 250 milligram per liter, because we are calculating 1000 ml how much. So that much milligram per liter or ppm, parts per million, 250 ppm. So that you should incorporate in the last column of your table. Understood? This is the first step, that is the total hardness. Now while we are determining the calcium hardness, that needs to be different. Main difference is here we are taking, instead of 50 ml, we are taking 25 ml. Okay, and maybe that reading will be differ. So whenever you do the practical, you can understand. Suppose it is coming, say it's coming 6. Okay, so in 6 is coming. So maybe this is different. I will show you that column. It's coming, say 6.1. So the convertibility is 6. So by the convertibility, you have to again same calculation. You have to do 1000 into 1 divided by 100 gram of CaCO3, and now this should be changed. Now it is 6.0. This is for example. Now you have to put whatever you want. This much how much? So maybe it will be differ. Okay, it will be differ. It should be say 6.0, because this is 6. Okay, so 6 milligram of calcium carbonate is coming. Now this 6 milligram of calcium carbonate for second step, that is for determining calcium hardness, we are not taking 50 ml, we are taking 25 ml. So only difference is here, 25 ml. So here also 25 ml, 6. It is coming 240. So 240 milligram calcium carbonate is present for determining the calcium. Now total minus 250 minus 240, say 10 ppm is for magnesium hardness. Okay, so separately we can find out the calcium hardness, say 240 ppm, and for magnesium, total minus calcium, 10 ppm is coming. then that is the magnesium hydroxide. So you put it. Okay, so this is the practical part, calculation part. It's very easy. Now we can determine separately and find out how much calcium hardness is there and how much magnesium hardness is there in the sample. Okay, students. I think everybody understood that it is a lengthy because it has 2 steps, but it's very easy one. Okay, see you in the